don't know, when you were little, what was your favorite thing about it?
Me, I was the youngest of seven, so the gifts were socks and school clothes. We didn't get gifts. No, it didn't happen. Mom threw a big old bash. I mean, there were tons of people there. My favorite thing about Christmas, which may not make sense to a whole bunch of people, but it was the best time of year to go run a scam, and we would go out and sing door to door and take donations for some fake charity and keep
Oh
it
my.
all. That's what we actually did.
Yeah, I apologize for having being like the new Sean of not attending. So,
You are too young to be as bad as me on that.
Hmm.
Here, look, I'm walking through the seedier side of the restaurant with the red light in the background. Woo,
Kristine,
walking to the,
at least you managed to troubleshoot this and figure it out. Sean would have just
yeah.
got angry and slashed out like a frightened woodland creature by now.
Just go, Jesus, Deepak, how many times you got to call me back this morning? I'm burning my bread.
you would have just taken that phone and just put it outside the back door by the dumpster and just like, screw these guys. I'm not.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, no, it told me I was done with my free meeting. So
Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize. What does your hat say? Time to slay?
yeah, I mean,
Good
I,
girl.
I was under the assumption this was going to be a Christmas theme event.
Well, we can do that. I am
We were
totally,
actually trying to figure
I'm all
out
down
topics to
for it.
talk about while you sat in silence. So we didn't even get to the Christmas
Just
theme.
sat there and cried.
So when three girls are together and two of them pick on the other one and leave them in silence, Deepak and I were trying that with you, but it wasn't working because your looks of despair were making us look bad.
Oh yeah. No, I don't do Zoom calls at work. There's just the little symbol there. There's no me there.
Dang, that's hilarious.
It was a
Okay, so
pandemic skill I didn't get.
so if let's do talk a little about Christmas. We'll roll with this a little bit if you want.
Yep.
So being in the restaurant business ever since I've been, like literally a little boy, and I've worked like the 30 days before, nobody cared whether I still had to go to school or not. You just had to work the whole time and let your homework go until after New Year's. And so Christmas has honestly just not been that big of a deal since I was a little boy. But my parents opened the house to anybody. And we would always have 5 or 6 Irish priests there, not the ones, but the other ones. And they were hilarious. And it was a really big day, but it wasn't for me, man. I just wanted some quiet. Did I get us knocked off of TikTok again?
Yes, TikTok, YouTube. Oh, everybody's just logging off, tuning out.
Can I just not even make a factual statement? Is that just, or is it the way I'm making the statement? Which one am I doing wrong?
Sean, tone, cadence, word, vocabulary, everything. Ring a bell.
You are the worst coach ever, man. You are the... Okay, should I restate it? So we used to have these really nice festive Christmas parties, and all of these people that were religious of the cloth that never did anything wrong. They were the good ones.
Mhm.
Showed up to the house, and we had this big old guy named Father Clary, and all he would do is he would drink some eggnog with brandy in it all day and go, "Merry Christmas," like somebody was hurting a cat. It was awful all day long. That's my childhood right there, just wrapped up.
Mm-hmm. No carol
How'd
singing.
that
None
work,
of the good
Kristine?
parts.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah. Well, I'm just kind of thinking, like I was driving around yesterday in the traffic down here, which was just wretched, and I went to one of the large superstores and
There
anyway,
you go.
well, I mean, I spare no expense. Um, so, but as a grown adult, I mean, the whole Christmas thing kind of, it's a little bit lost on me now. It's not that I don't have like Christmas spirit, or I just kind of, it's kind of a pain more than
Yeah.
anything else. And I'm sure I got I work with a lot of people. They got kids and they're doing the kid thing, and it's all
Right.
well and good. But I'm just like, man, when's Panda Express going to open up again?
Right. Yeah, I'm
And
with you. Right.
and I don't know, when you were little, what was your favorite thing about it?
Me, I was the youngest of 7, so the gifts were socks and school clothes. We didn't get gifts. No, it didn't happen. Mom threw a big old bash. I mean, there were tons of people there. My favorite thing about Christmas, which may not make sense to a whole bunch of people, but it was the best time of year to go run a scam, and we would go out and sing door to door and take donations for some fake charity and keep it all. That's what we actually did. Now, Deepak, you should cut that out and put that at the beginning of the show. That's the truth. And so
you're
we would, our little weird, Irish neighborhood, there was a scam going every day, and caroling was the best scam, because we did have some Italians that lived in the neighborhood, and they would be smiling and nodding like, good for you. That is awesome.
We know what you're up to.
Yeah, but they were proud that we'd come up with it on our own, and we were terrible. But everybody would make you sing like a whole song. But here's the deal: think about money wise. This is 50 years ago. People would either give us $1 or $5 per house. We'd be done and make $200 and split it between two 10-year-olds. It was insane.
Oh, wow.
I know.
What was that back then? $200. What was that? A down payment on a nice suburban house?
Right. So, honest to God, that would be rent on a large home. And when I say large, I mean one 9 people could live in. No. It would be like 200. Right. It was crazy. And that was probably, and the other one was, we had this dinner theater that was about 3 blocks from the house. And they had a parking lot they did not charge money for with people. And, so they did the Christmas Carol every year, the Scrooge show. And so my friends and I would stand out there at the parking lot, Sam's parking.
Wow. Wow. Huh. Not a lot of people can say, hey, my favorite Christmas memory is fraud. So
I know. And at that young, I am sitting there going, how did I think of this stuff? You know what I mean? Because really, that's a pretty good run for a little kid. I pretty good show, and yeah. And no one ever questioned us.
I was gonna say you should have seen a therapist, but sure, we'll go with your plan of whatever this was.
Yeah. And that's what made him build into the person he is today.
That's right. Kristine's like, why am I on this show with this guy that's talking about crimes from 50 years ago?
Well, I mean, the socks, though, like at the time, you're like, this is the most horrible thing. Now it's, God, good socks.
I know, right? That don't squeeze too hard. Like, I want looser socks. I don't know what's up with these socks that squeeze my feet, man.
Yeah. John, I think those are like made for people with varicose veins, where it's supposed to be that tight so that they don't have pain or something. I don't know why the hell you have
but
them.
It's like in the middle of my foot. I mean, and I must tell you, at night in the winter, my feet are 0. I mean, they are shockingly cold. So socks. And my favorite Christmas memory is in the 70s. My mom bought me these pants, and they were made from obviously a non-natural material. And we had to iron them, and they melted. The pants melted. You can't even make this shit up. It's so bad. And so my dad took some duct tape and literally rolled them inside and taped the thing around, and I wore them to midnight mass. So we would all pool down to the local church, all 1,000 of us, and afterwards, this lady named Mrs. McGinley put on this big old breakfast. But I wasn't even smart enough to know that's where all the cute girls were. I was that young. Yeah. I just wanted food.
That single fashion choice was probably what actually started global warming.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I remember that. I mean, Well, and I'm dating myself here, but corduroy. When you're
rubbing of corduroy, and it created heat. It created heat. That's Deepak, of course, doesn't even know what any of this stuff is.
No, I do. I did have a corduroy jacket, Sean, and I was a kid. I don't know which idiot gave me this.
They're heavy, and God, I can't imagine it. Yeah, it probably worked for you. yeah, those are my kind of Christmas memories. I just am. I grew up in such a creative way. So, did you guys have to pick Kris Kringles in school? Like, did somebody to give gifts to?
Oh, like the
Who?
Secret Santa thing? I don't think that was
Yeah.
a thing even for
Uh-huh.
us, eh?
Okay.
No.
Sean,
I had to
why,
do it in
can I tell
grade
you, this is
school.
how immigrant parents saw Christmas, okay? By
Yeah.
this time in the year, you knew how badly your kid was sucking in that particular grade. So this was
Right.
just basically our study holidays. We didn't even have it as a Christmas break. Because when you come back, you have your finals and you need to fucking get their shit together.
Right. Oh my God, that's awesome.
Mm.
Okay, so in the world where parents didn't care whether we studied or not, even though my mom was a teacher, which makes no sense. So we got these things called Kris Kringles, and they would give you somebody's name, and then you had to buy them shit through the month of December. And so I'm randomly down by some store, and they had deodorant for like a quarter. So I bought some deodorant. This poor girl was crying because she thought it meant that she smelled. And
It was a girl. You're
oh yeah,
horrible.
I know I'm horrible. I was a boy. Our
You're
brains were
terrible.
not even in our bodies at the time. And so the teacher came up and goes, "Why would you do that?" And I go, "I mean, it was in the thing. I mean, I never entered my mind how it would be received." Now I have three wives that will explain that I have not changed much.
Sean, was
That
this
poor
attitude
girl.
pre-parking lot
Yeah,
scam or post-parking lot scam?
it was probably right in the midst of it. You
Okay.
know, the deal was is I was making a lot of money at the parking lot and caroling scam. I did not want to spend it on gifts for somebody I didn't know. I mean, I was in class with the girl, but she was like a super A student. And they didn't start liking me until high school. And then they all really liked me.
Oh, God.
Yep, I know. Every girl likes a bad boy. Every girl likes a bad boy. I don't know what that's about, but
Down there with this parking lot gig at the church.
They were like,
hey, but
Yeah,
that
I
we
guy.
did cash
hold on. I did have a job though. I did have
Yeah,
entrepreneurism. It started early.
Mhm.
that's terrible. No.
It's the loneliest place in the world is Christmas in a dorm room. And I
Yeah.
don't care whether it's high school or college or if you were one of those little kids they sent away.
The fun thing was, like, at least in Oklahoma, it was where we had already started renting a house off campus. So it was peaceful
Oh,
for
that's
us.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whereas the others were just miserable in just dorm rooms and
God.
like
Uh,
everybody who didn't go home was just chilling with like one person in the cafeteria and one person in the cleaning place.
communally enjoying your loneliness and
Mhm.
shame.
Did you make a Christmas tree out of empty beer cans in the
That's
corner?
pretty good. That's pretty good.
Nope.
So here's one to throw in on this thing, Kristine. If you ever want to see all the divorced dads that tried to make Christmas meals for their kids, go to IHOP or Denny's on Christmas Day at about 3, and it is the crown of shame for every single dad.
What
And the kids,
are you
go
trying to
ahead.
drop another dating hint?
Oh my God, that might work. Hey, at least they tried. At least they tried. You got to give them credit. They tried and failed miserably. And yes, I know I'm not supposed to laugh about stuff like that, but that is funny. Okay, have I told you? Go ahead.
Oh, it's expected. It's okay.
See, now she's purposely making us look bad, Sean.
I knew it was coming after the 45 minutes of silence that we were going to pay for it.
Yeah, I was building to it.
I always wonder, so that if you're in a tropical country, which I've never done, I mean, what does that Christmas look like? Because I always think it's a way to control children. And if you're in an area where it's nice all the time, don't you just send them back outside? I mean, isn't like you have to keep them inside like we do?
To be honest with you, like this neighborhood, I've just seen kids because they're like right now on their Christmas break, just playing on the streets, cycling, doing all of that weird shit.
Yeah.
And it's like 81 right now, and it's around 63 at nights. So
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That is as bad as our weather gets.
So does Santa Claus change his clothes before he gets to your country?
Now you'll see a
So
lot
it's
of sweaty
warmer?
mall Santas here. Philippines, Malaysia, Singapore. They're just sweating, and you just have to just
Oh,
take it
no.
as it is.
No. So I always, and I don't know if I'm right, but it seems logical that the only reason you would cut down an evergreen tree and bring it inside your house and decorate it a little bit is because your spouse or somebody in the house smelled so bad that you wanted to change the scent in the house. And I think that makes more sense than a Christmas tree. I think that was just an excuse.
Mm-hmm. See,
What do you think, Kristine?
here I have seen Christmas trees at like the Catholic church down in my old neighborhood, which
Yeah.
so there it's most of these old churches have like a pine-looking coniferous tree that grows outside most of the churches
Right.
that they just decorate when it's Christmas time. They don't chop anything, they don't do anything, it just grows
Right.
there. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah. I don't know about the Christmas tree. I mean, probably the original meeting's probably lost on the rest of us, especially here.
It was some pagan deal.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of soft now in my old age, and I
Really?
don't want to just kill. I don't want to kill a tree just to, I moved here from the desert. Cutting down a tree is like killing a unicorn or something. You just don't do it. And I don't know. I thought about doing one of the live Christmas trees, and then my dogs are going to eat it. And
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And when cats will jump on them and invariably play inside them and get caught in the cords. I mean, it's dangerous. My dad used to do a live one, and I never really understood it because he was psycho when he would try to fix things that he didn't know how to fix. And so they had these shitty little tree stands, and you had to screw in these deals on the side to hold them.
Oh shit, I have seen those.
They don't work. Like they don't work. It would have been smarter to do a bucket of cement, stick the thing in there, have the bottom be able to get a little bit of water.
Some medieval torture device for some poor tree who didn't want to come in your house in the first place and get peed on by your cats and then light on fire at the middle of February because you haven't taken it outside.
Exactly, dang it. So the big thing is were we covering up the fact that there was no indoor plumbing originally and people smelled? Because I'm thinking
you think that's the reason why they started bringing them indoors?
Oh, God. I mean, it makes no sense why you would ever cut a tree down and bring it inside.
Can I tell it? In the recent past, all the old like BBC shows or any like medieval shows, all I can think of is like, it must be stinking out there right now, wherever I see them.
Yeah. And did our sense of smell develop after that? Because it doesn't seem like they had much back then. I mean, that was some grody times, even if you were in charge. Lord.
Well, if everyone else smells like that, it's a little bit whiffy out. You probably that's probably just normal,
Yeah, just roll with it. I know. Nuts.
John, maybe that's why in the old movies you see them smelling flowers and looking so happy, which we don't do nowadays. They're like, oh, pollen allergy, you dick.
Okay, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, I like that this is where we go with our Christmas chat is like Sean's giving out deodorant as gifts. and
now we've rolled around to people smelling.
Yeah. We're putting a tree in the house just to make it smell not like despair, whatever.
I bet we're right. That's what's really sad is we're probably correct. The most logical answer is usually the answer. So I also my mom used to have this deal of she cooked really marvelous food at Christmas that we never got any other part of the year. And it made me go, maybe she isn't as bad of a cook as I think she is because she can do it once. She's choosing not to do it the other time. So are you old enough to have had Campbell's cream of mushroom soup on everything? Yeah, you, Kristine.
Yes. Yeah. What do you think that was like Midwest thing? Because there's all these Midwest type traditions.
Yeah.
That we don't. It seems like one of them is funeral potatoes, and
they're delicious.
They are delicious, but it was basically just like a bag of the shaved Orida potatoes and some cream and mushroom soup on top. The other one that was so, and I loved it, was that like orange salad with the shaved carrots in it and the pineapple. Did you guys do that?
So is that the one that's got kind of marshmallow? It's got marshmallow.
No. Oh, no marshmallow. It's just orange jelly.
No shit. No, but I'm willing to try that one. Huh.
It was actually pretty good, but
I'm down for that.
Every time I see that stuff, I think aspic though.
Right.
It's just I can't get past it. But
Deepak has no idea what we're talking about because they had good food all the time.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not that. God damn it.
Yeah.
I would like to see how he went from his food at home to dorm food.
Oh God, Sean, it was the most phenomenally dreary experience.
Oh my God.
Like that cafeteria smelled of nothing. Like you couldn't tell that there was food in there at any given point.
Of disappointment.
You would just see steam, which meant that something's warm. That's as far as it ever got.
Right. Oh, British food. In my kindergarten school, I would go down to eat lunch, and I still remember the green beans at my school had onions and bacon and chicken stock in them. And I could smell the bacon coming over the top of the stairs going in. And man, I tell you what, it was the best smelling stuff I ever had in my life. And they were just canned shitty green beans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's another thing with that cream of mushroom soup. You just
and then everything.
God, you look at it when it comes out of the can, and it's maybe the most unappetizing looking.
Yeah.
Congealed there is.
Can I tell you,
coagulated.
Here I'm guessing, like when we were kids, we were never allowed to like eat outside food. Like if it was in a can processed of any sort, we weren't even allowed to come near it. Like there was like once a month or something where they would let us eat out, and that's about it. But every other meal was just at home.
So those of us that came from the legacy of going, you got to go kill everybody and take over their shit. You got to have some canned goods on the shelves to be able to make it through the first winter. I think that's what the Pilgrims taught us. You got to have some canned goods to get through. And my mom, everything in a can. I mean, God bless her. There were way too many people eating, and she never admitted she was going to be a chef. But everything in a can. So I don't even know what it would be like to eat the way that you did. And you think of from the British Isles and Germany, which are, that's about 60% of America, just those two areas. Winters were brutal. So you had to have canned goods or bottled goods of some sort or stored goods. You guys in India could eat year round. We didn't have that luxury.
See, that's why the British were constantly hanging around here, Sean. They were like, okay,
right.
It's not dreary as fuck every day outside, minus the 3 days of summer that we have there. Let's just hang out here.
Not crazy. That's where I roll, man. That's where I roll. I am all good using frozen items. I'm not good using canned items. There's something that happens to them when they sit in whatever that liquid is for too long of a period of time.
Well, they're cooking it with salt. It's just all it is. It's like with the green beans, it's like all you taste is just salt.
Yeah, and and rank water because it's been sitting in green beans.
Yeah, it's just kind of like salt and bleak,
So my dad would make fruit cake, which we didn't realize he just liked to get drunk, and he would get this fruit cake and soak it with booze and soak it with, as if it was some goddamn recipe, and it was just a way to get some shots in.
See, that's a clever plan.
Right. Well, he wasn't a big drinker, so I was always kind of surprised that he was so nice around the holidays because that's not how I found him the rest of the year. But now I know why.
It's probably that, and probably hit the nog when you were still asleep, Sean.
Right. Exactly. Oh my. All right. Kristine, I
kids.
don't know if you heard my crime wave stuff. Did I say the crime wave stuff while you were on of what we did as children?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how we earned our Christmas money. What'd you guys did? Did you have to give stuff to your people and your families? Because we didn't do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, I'm kind of cheap now. So it's kind of like, it was really fun when you're a little kid and you're getting stuff. And then when you get older, you feel like you have to impress people by how wonderful you are at giving gifts.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
The more impressive, more expensive. I mean, and it's just, I know it's not the way it is, but you know, that's kind of what we're kind of sold. Yeah. And so, yeah, at this point, it's kind of wonderful that I might go buy the dogs some new toys.
There you go.
That's it. But yeah, you know, I is that way in my family, and I had to either come up with something wonderfully creative or whatever. And then Christmas was, it was great. It was great. Yeah. You know, and now I kind of wish I'd get some socks out of the deal, but
good socks, not the other socks. Good socks.
Yeah.
Okay, I will show you my favorite stuff in the entire world for Christmas. So I get people that send me things like this. Can you see that with the cookies?
Mm-hmm.
It's probably not that good of a view. But so I had never received anything like this in my entire life. It's kind of weird. And Kathy and I were dating, and she had these 3 little girls. And instead of buying everybody Christmas gifts, they made Italian Christmas cookies and dropped off a box of them at my house. And I was like, that's the best thing I've ever had in my entire life. Because, you know, I don't, there's nothing I need in life, but good cookies. I could work on that deal. I ate those whole things, but I thought that was the best Christmas gift that I ever got. Handmade cookies. They were delicious. Jeez, I'm down.
Cookies are good. So's money.
I think Sean, I think that's what we got on Christmas. Same. It must have been just cash because I don't have any memory of gift in my life.
Anything else? No shit. Huh. Well, I don't remember that I got good gifts of anything. So let's I don't want to pretend like we had something happening there that mattered. The one thing I remember being jealous of, though, is the kids that would come to school with a sunburn in January. And now I know those fuckers were skiing and I was not, because I didn't even know what skiing was back then. But they would come in with these crazy sunburns, and it was from skiing.
Or was it just going outside, period?
Oh no, they were skiing. So we did activities called ghouling, and ghouling in Italian means ass. Like a ghoulie is your butt. And we would hang on to the bumpers of cars and slide on our feet on the ground, going whatever mile an hour, whipping around corners and all this shit, which explains between that and the criminality of all of Christmas in my neighborhood of what is wrong with most of my people. Yeah.
I know. That minus all the times that you'll probably let go and got how many million concussions that nobody knew about.
and I would say, not that they didn't know, they didn't care.
He's still moving. He's okay. Just kick him. Right. He's fine. Can we just put him out front in the couch in his Christmas pajamas? Yeah. If he still moves, he's okay.
Yeah. And then, it was easier to make more of us than repair the ones that were there. I mean, it's just sad, but that is the absolute truth. I don't, I was riding on a bicycle, and I was holding on to the kind of the bumper of a bicycle on a skateboard, and I got into a terrible wreck and woke up in the hospital a few days later, and my parents were pissed at me. They were not like, oh, I'm so glad he's alive. None of that bullshit.
Can I tell you, even my parents were the same way, where I don't know what it was. If you got hurt and showed up at the house, they would probably hit you as to why you got hurt.
Right.
And then be like, okay, so where did you get hurt, you idiot type thing? That was their whole attitude.
Yeah. How are we related exactly? How did this? It was an interesting time in life. I think that's the best way for me to look at it. I don't have good or bad memories because I didn't know anything was good or bad. I mean, in all truthfulness, like all of our little criminal shit back then, that's just how you made money. I didn't know there was anything wrong with it. Isn't that crazy? I didn't know those were scams. I didn't know that normal people didn't do it.
And across state lines and statute of limitations, you're okay now.
Right.
You can talk about it. You can open up and talk about it.
I can open up and tell them about my childhood.
Sean, you would probably like taken a car
fraud.
from one state, driven across state lines, dropped it off, sold it, and then been like, I don't know what I was doing wrong. They're like, that's not carjacking. This is grand theft auto.
So we did use car batteries and put them into people's like extra cars. You know, like if you had a big family, they wouldn't sell a car. They would just put it in the back of the house and wait till somebody turned 16 that needed a car, and they would give them that cheap, shitty, terrible car. And so we would go take batteries and put them in there and go joyriding, having no idea there were like no license plates or anything on them. I mean, we were it was an interesting place to live.
Should we just preface everything that you're saying that it was the 70s, 60s?
Yeah. And no one cared about anything.
Nobody gets us.
If you watch any of the shows from back then, evidently everybody was alcoholic and drank at lunch, and all of the moms were on Valium. And I really, truly...
Plus smoking all the time, right? While serving.
Chain smoking with the windows up. Like with the windows up. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I remember, I have a distinct memory of being very small and going to the grocery store with my mom and siblings. And I mean, I must have been tiny because I think I was in the cart. Right. And I remember we pulled up to the checkout, and the lady was punching in because they had, had the prices on the sticker, and she's punching it in, and she's sitting there smoking inside the grocery store. And it was a big grocery store. It was, it was like a Walmart type of deal. Right. And anyway, she just stops and she looks down at me in the cart. What lovely children you have. And then just keeps checking stuff out. And that was, that was a big thing. And I remember, people smoking in the car, not a seatbelt in sight. No, there was like a mob of us in the back seat, and we'd go around the corner and we'd all just go slide to one side of the car and just laugh, and one of us might have got bumped out the back, whatever. It's great.
No one cared. I just can't emphasize enough when I say no one cared. They just didn't give a shit. And if you didn't show up for dinner, it was more food for somebody else. They just did not give a shit.
Wait, that's like that. Isn't there a famous Jerry Seinfeld joke where he's like, our parents treated us like raccoons. There's one around. We just don't know where it is at any given point in our lives.
I don't, but what I would honestly say is I don't think it was a bad way to grow up because we just had to figure shit out and do stuff. I mean, think of all the, evidently not where you all lived, but where I lived, all the criminal activity that was going on a regular basis. I mean, it was, and none of us were like, oh, you shouldn't do that. Like, I'd never entered anybody's. And I tell people, I go, look, if it wasn't locked down, everybody stole it. I mean, and not everybody. I mean, half the people in my neighborhood. If it wasn't locked down, they just stole it. And the next day it was theirs.
I have a strange feeling this has more to do with you than the entire neighborhood. It was just you, rotten little.
Don't be mean. Don't be mean. Well, and my brother was the chief crook of the neighborhood. My brother Kevin, Uncle Kevin. Look at how he turned out.
Hey, he's a great guy. I met him at that wedding in Kansas, Sean.
Right. Hey, at least he's not calling. At least he's not calling from prison to say hello on Christmas this year.
Well, we say call.
That's right. That is right. Hey, you got a point.
Yeah.
So, is this a Christmas episode that you thought you were going to get, Deepak?
Oh no. I have no idea what happened because I'm just looking at the time and it says we have 4 minutes left, which means that we've done almost like an hour and 20 minutes.
Okay, do we need to promo anything? Because last time you told me we needed to promo stuff.
I'll pull it from the other one, I guess.
All right.
What are you selling?
No, we just try to do like a little bit about the pub, about Vito's,
Yeah.
about the app development company, things like that. We just chuck it in here. Mm-hmm.
And are you doing? Well, don't we need to talk about website building too? Because you do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Deepak's built a whole ton of websites for me over the years. God knows how many, but it's got to be a minimum of 10, and they're all very good.
Do you know, Sean, there is a separate account I have with just almost close to 600 to 800 passwords of different clients' websites that we've worked on since like 2009. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and none of us know where any of those passwords are. We literally have to call him and find out.
See?
Okay, well,
Kristine, don't hold it up to the camera. People might take a screenshot.
yeah.
No,
they were.
Yeah. No, they're inside.
Well, Kristine, I am glad we got to talk to you. You were an amazing guest today. You were awesome.
Oh, well, thanks.
All right, well, take us out. Take us out, Deepak. Happy Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. This was our Christmas episode of the Villagers podcast, where Sean, Kristine, did I say villagers without pronouncing my V?
The Villagers, baby. The Villagers. That's who we are. All right, homies. Everybody have a good day. It's good to see you.
Good day. Bye.
Yeah. See ya.